Right. We're there. We're streaming. We exist. I have no idea whether everyone's out there because stream elements weird. If you're out there, say hi in chat, since I can't actually see whether I have any or not at the moment. It's really weird. Hey, Grisbuff. There we go. Right, we shall continue. Do we actually have anything left to do so? Maybe. Get any closer to Field Marshal at all, ever. Which is debatable at the moment. Really having a lot of cards-based time, which means I can't get on a run, which it's not really happening. Hello, Mr. Salt. How you doing? Right, chill out. Short stream today, but we will do some giveaways. Ooh, puppy. Nice. Also, rally as in driving rally, as in driving in a rally, which would be quite cool. My driving instructor was an ex-rally driver. I'm kind of okay with this hand. Ouch. Oh, nice. Good thing to spend your time doing. Much impressed me. I know how hard it is. Learning the art of short shifting and balancing turns, plus being able to listen to a navigator. Not. Oh dear, demolishment's not so fun. Although Zia is an incredibly competent player, so I wouldn't feel too badly. Oh, it's this. Fine. Dropping this super early. Well, I think not. It's definitely a fun thing to do. At the moment we're playing a little bit of German Japan Trollburn, just to see if I can get my dailies out of the way because it's relatively deck. After that, I don't actually know. I'm not going to lie. I've not been super into cards lately. Yep, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, Mr. Salt. You can do all the prep you like, sometimes it just doesn't happen. Right, I want to get some giveaways up and running. We will do a couple of giveaways today, just because I have them, and I don't know what my stream schedule is going to look like. Okay, I mean, sure. Hey there. Apparently some no luck, nobody. Just got lucky. In all seriousness, happens in competitions. If good players play each other, you're always going to get someone who has a bad day. Or alternatively, it just goes right down to the wire, which would be a lot of fun. Right then. Yeah. Maybe we're just going to let you do the running. Because at the moment... Yeah, I've just not been, like, I've played a little bit here and there, but not really much since I streamed on Saturday beyond a couple of matches. It's just not been my speed lately. I mean, we can do it. I suppose we might as well. But this completely on. Get the presence and force trade. I think we. I think it's a little unwieldy. Lives in deck. Helpful for converting your entire opponent. Oh, or just because you have 1,000,000 units on board to hit with conversion. That was an. Bounce it? I think we just bounce it. Yeah, all the 1, 2, 3 procs you're ever gonna need. Because you can just use all of the cards to hit with Surveil, which I think is... That's legitimately genius. I like that. That's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Just stacking the Arado. At the moment. YouTube comments are occasionally really good for making you think of things that you really think you should have known. This happens to me a lot. I am legitimately being old man shakes fist at sky here, getting quite cranky. At the sheer number of greedy German decks. There's just, you see, I'm playing Germany for a reason, and I see so much Germany. If you're going to have a massive hand against this deck, you need to know that Kriegsmarine exists. That Comet is really annoying. Really hoping to hit it with the discard. Oh, good. I shouldn't be. Can you hear me now? My audio is a little bit weird. Do we just bounce these things? You got in hand 8. So if I bounce these, you discard one of them. Commandos is a thing. No, I'm not going to do anything because we can top deck a win. You can't comment us. Of course, you're running Bismarck in a like. Sure. Yeah, the Commandos thing is a weird one. It's very, very odd. Yeah, it happens. Commandos is not that great. Win rate wise. However, it's very popular. It's also quite cheap. I do think the quite cheap part, as much as I do not like saying it. Oh, cool, friendly, absolutely. As much as I don't like saying it, it is a good deck to recommend to newer players if they want a cheap deck that can get wins and would get to Field Marshal relatively effectively. Now, if this is burn, we're going to have a very good day. Before we get absolutely trounced by Zir. But yeah, I think part of the Commandos thing is they are arguably the best deck I can think of for a new player to take on at the minute. See, I get why you might feel the urge to do that, but be the change you actually want to see in the world. Because whether you intend it or not, doing that encourages other people that's moral behavior, in my opinion. I do understand it. I really truly do. Thing. Not there. And play this. Let's yes. Extra. I don't think. I think Commandos is a weird one because Commandos is actually pretty decent in the hands of anyone who knows what they're doing. I think our opponent might be cranky. Also a possibility. I'm just trying to work out the odds that they were going to need to do something like that, because at this point, I'm not sure what they think they're top decking. Double Shibata means whatever order combination you have in your hand just kills you. And so gonna kill you with your own. I mean, there's no 1k countermeasure there. Anyway, some friendlies in with Zia. Right. Was the only thing I could think of, and there wasn't anything we could really do about it. Shoot me a request once you're online, my friend. It was the only one I could think of. Meanwhile, Make sure. Ah, the game over. Thank you so much. Hope you had a good stream. As ever, thank you kindly for coming along and bringing your raiders. We love you. Yourselves involved for some giveaways. What have I actually got today? We've got 3 standard naval warfare packs and a draft ticket. I mean, that probably wouldn't help against a good player. No. That is. Uh, Draft is good fun. Draft can be fun. Draft's also a good way to chill out sometimes. If the rest of the game is just incredibly frustrating for you, sometimes draft's a good place to just go and chill. Oh, this is terrible. Skip, please. Yeah, it's nice to give away the occasional draft ticket. I actually invested money first time in a physical card game for foil. What is on the board? And since I'm fairly certain I know what we're playing again. A couple of options, although Zia has many good Britain decks. Sure. Can make sense. Not sure where this lands. Carpet bombing. Off. I've got spare credit. That's annoying. I didn't see that. That's me playing too quickly. Still, it'll be fine. World's not ending. Cameroonians, you say? enough. Plus spam in. Righto then. Still in the habit of playing decks that are thoroughly interesting. Really? What? Ah, bone sucks. Bone stacks. Yeah, it's not ideal currently. It's not in a perfect place. Right, after this match, we'll do our first giveaway, and then we'll start kind of rolling with them. So I'm not going to be on that much longer this evening. So I need to actually get through them. The shorter stream from me. I have a lot of stuff going on with my house and that I need to sort out. Hey, Big Wolf. Right. Nope, 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 nope. Total shit. We are currently playing a best of 5 friendly against Zia, so we're bouncing between a number of different options and probably going to 5-0 get 5-0'd. On this deck, because this deck is all gold cards. I have two. The first of which is one that I built a while ago from having some spare stuff. This one was actually primarily provided through 1939, because this is the deck that was used when I did the beginner guide short videos, 1939, in a professional capacity. So, to show off how to craft gold cards and the value of gold decks, I had to have a gold deck. But basically, as long as all 39 cards in your deck are gold, deck will be gold. Which is a nice little wish to have. But is not something I would advise spending your gold on. unless you really do have it to spare. By the time, like the first time I think I crafted my first gold deck, which was a Britain-Japan air deck. Both of my gold decks are air decks. Who knew? I'll drop the spit pressure. I had north of 25,000 gold that I wasn't doing anything with. You did summon Greedy Ramp, though. Not over yet. Ridiculous. I really can't wait for this card to be rotated, banned, changed. Quite possibly the most annoying card that ever added. Imagine, I am not a fan. Start with once per turn. Right, let's grab our first winner, Chris Buff. We'll send you a pack. My 20 DM's open. All good. I'm very fortunate to get giveaways to give away. Be able to. There you go. Keep something back. Do we want to keep? Probably. I have a suspicion. Oh, I am glad. I like making people's day. Nice when something positive happens, but, you know, we like to do our giveaways where we can. Yeah, no, hang around, you might win more than one. Right, let's see what we've actually got. Already not. Man. Distinct money on the fact that this is going to be handlock. Kind old. It's very much a case of whether the relevant combination procs in time, or whether we can actually get some presents and they run out of steam before. Never mind. And capitulation. Oh no! Oh, you can't! You're running Britmain. So used to capitulation at this point. Running Britmain for the actual handlock. Well, decklock. Oh, I am glad. On all fronts. I'm just always delighted to have more people along on the Discord. It always astounds me how many people actually have time to chill out and be part of my nonsense. Like, seeing the Discord grow is huge because the community's been a big part of my life too. So I love being able to do it. I want to get back. I want to have time to, and the motivation. Not gonna lie, motivation is a little lower on the ground for me at the moment to get back and do some more new player content. Interesting. We're doing this. Oh, we want to. Sequencing is a thing. Don't like paying for. I mean, for a worse fate than having a bunch of albacores on my deck. Gotcha. Oh, also totally forgot to state the. That's my bad. Okay. So, big old heavy light gun. Hey, Matox. How you doing? Right, so mouse would be annoying, but predictable. Usually what you're going for. Fortification is thing sign. Suggestive that Zia did not get the cards that Zia would have liked. There are a number of cards we would very much like to see, though, and they're not happening. We're going to minimize the incoming damage. We're able to. Because survival is our only hope here, and it's highly unlikely. Make no mistake, we are currently losing. Actually, by a distance. Well, you're altogether too late, aren't you? Fantastic. Five, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's not technically over, but not mathematically done. Do, 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 do. Sanmar, congratulations. Which DMs will be filled with joy shortly. Oh, Bone Stacks, thanks for the follow. That's awesome. Going second. Sure. We can keep the trade up, we might have a chance here, but I don't give us good odds. This is about to start happening. Yep. Indeed. Oh, I see. Kind of interesting. Swing for the hand refill. Oh, interesting. But it still has shock. Yeah. But they're not currently doing anything. Could be a lot worse. Haveldad, how you doing? Do. Yeah. I'm intrigued how badly we lose. Right then. Appallingly is the answer. Uh, this. Don't like that ink, but fair enough. Of course, you've already got it in hand. Why wouldn't you? All right. I don't have any reserve decks, and I have no interest in the kind of reserve decks that you play. No offense meant, but unless it's actually a board trading deck with units that doesn't use as and random AoE suppression and or board wipes, not really my speed. I don't actually have any at the moment. Although I'm close, actually. I will show in a minute. I'm almost there. I need more standard wild cards. I'm almost there with having a complete collection. Sure. Germany, Japan. Oh, this should be interesting. I shall find out an answer to a question. I should actually get round to some point sitting and doing some reserved deck list. Oh, we're at the magic credit. There. I like the aggression. Oh, that's annoying. I'm really just doing that for funsies before anyone asks what the... Because I know it's going to get pinned next turn anyway. Traditionally, yeah, mid-range decks. I do, like... It very much depends, and I have to be honest about that, on the mode I'm in. As a competitive player, I'm always going to lean into hard control decks and decks that are just able to pull the meta point. But since I don't play this game competitively, yeah, my nature is to enjoy decks that have value. Like the appeal for me of this game is trading units on the board, not finding the most broken combination of all that can stop my opponent playing the game. That would be very different if I was playing competitive. What? How bad is your hand? Oh, good lord. I feel badly for you. I legitimately feel bad for the kid. That's terrible. That's awful. That was a terrible hand. One? After 3, we can't do anything about that. This. You. Odds are they have enough. He's got enough damage in hand to. I'd be astounded if not. Oh! Oh! Oh, he does. Literally just. That was closer than it should have been, considering I was playing a me. That was actually quite fun. Right, giveaway. Right. Yeah, you're not getting me at my most proactive, but they're good fun. I enjoy a bit of friendlies. Let me get what have we got left? Let's combo the last giveaway because it's coming up for time for me to wrap the stream anyway. So after the next couple of games, I will do a giveaway for a standard pack and a draft ticket. Inbird Run! Hello! Welcome along. Right, we are going to clamber back on ladder and see if we get any kind of movement. But yeah, to go back to the earlier conversation about mid-range decks that Havilded was starting, I do generally prefer them. It's just at the moment they are not colossally good because mid-range just doesn't have a lot of value in the current meta. It's being out-positioned by hard counters and honestly at the moment a couple of very, very silly mechanics that I personally am not the world's biggest fan of. But I am old man shaking my fist at the sky. I'm very aware that they are probably immensely popular mechanics, but things like 1-2-3s, I really just not a fan of their existence in the world. Anything that is sort of just going to infinitely do a thing always troubles me. But, you know, as I say, old man shakes fist. It's honestly been something that's been weird for me ever since I started playing digital card games, is getting used to the idea of morphing and changing cards and stuff. I'm so used to the idea of card gaming being based on the fact that a card is a card is a card. It does what's in front of you. It's in your hand. It does a thing. See, So long as it's a deck that has a sub 50%, preferably sub 45% win rate, kind of fine with it. As soon as you get an OTK deck that's in any way going to be OTKing consistently, what you're asking is for players not to. It depends. Are you talking about Brit US, which is not a commandos? It's a ramp deck with a ping engine. In which case, yes. Yes, it is. It is a terrible, terrible mistake, which at some point will be rectified. I have no doubt. But this is one of the things that I have, like Brit Japan Commandos or Brit Germany Commandos OTK. No, not particularly, because it can't do the ludicrous thing. Only Brit US can do the ludicrous, unfun, and player crushing, bad for the game thing. And yes, I say that quite vehemently because I believe it to be entirely true. I believe that the current state of Commandos is actually really, really bad for the game's length and survival. Less than ideal. But yeah, the Brit US Commandos deck is in effect an OTK, because if you know what you're doing with it, you're only playing it. You're only playing Commandos on a turn when your odds are north of 80% that you win that turn. But then I have expressed publicly and privately the fact that the big fix to this is just remove all credit acceleration from the game. And make it a hard rule that you get 1 credit increase a turn ever, forever, unless you get production, which I actually think is the best way we've seen. We get lucky? I think production is the best way we've seen of handling credit cheating in this game, because it creates a card in hand, which I have less of a problem with. A one-shot deal for a quick burst of acceleration. I would like to see any and all ramp cards just moved, because I don't think they do anything the game needs. This. Hey, Skyscraper. I mean, again, depends on how good you are on it. I mean, Halifax plus 1-2-3s is also just a very, very, very long walk to a win that you should have gotten turns and turns ago, because you have to build an incredibly hard control deck to be able to survive long enough to pull off the combination. Which, by kind of definition, I suppose means, yes, it's an OTK deck. I'm going to play this through last day, Red. But, yeah, so, again, we're talking about decks that are, by definition, if you know how you play them, only interested in preventing your opponent from playing the game until their HQ defense. Which may sound like a really fun way to play the game, until you actually have to. And this might be an experience that many of you watching this stream haven't had, but until you actually have to be looking and having a conversation with the person on the other side of the table in the same room while it's happening. That's when you realize how uncomfortable those really janky combinations that just say you can't play the game are, and why they are a miserable experience that don't belong in card games. Oh, I'm glad. And I hope it proves useful. But yeah, I think it's interesting because I think there are whole generations of people playing online card games now who've never had to actually interact with a person while you play the card game. And that very much changes hard control and OTK decks because you have to see the frustration and depression and misery of the person opposite you, which tends to make you go, the game really need this? The answer to which is almost universally, oh, really? Ask yourself if you'd say that to your best friend opposite the table if they were utterly miserable something to do for fun. That would be my one thing. And I mean your best friend, not some random person. Like someone you actually care about. Take the time to both sit down to do something that you want to enjoy and have fun. There's no competition, no prizes. Nobody is there to win anything. It's not about being competitive. These are people playing for fun. I think it will find it changes the game. Because that's what's... Like, have you played table-to-table casual, non-competitive, and chosen to play a deck that was designed to make your opponent... Like a deck as hard control as some of the ones built in this game? Because I have. And I've only ever done it in a competitive environment because I really just didn't. Yeah, the thing is that there are a lot of games out there that just don't have. No, you see, it doesn't. No, you need to. It's not the same game. You can't do the same thing. In a game like Spades, you can't put together a combination of cards that says, can I have your deck? I'm going to put it over here and play out my win. If that makes any sense. It's you literally can't do it. This is interesting. I've played Slay the Spire. Sorry, Skyskipper. We're talking about in-person card games, and I mean, I'm having an interesting philosophical point about the fact that there are certain archetypes in online card games that get played quite regularly that I think people would have a different experience if they actually had to be sat at a table with someone that they were talking to and had to see the effect that the deck you're playing has on someone else. That was actually quite cool. Then you're not at a table with someone you care about. Ask yourself, but you're playing competitively. I'm trying to get... I don't know whether you're actually... I don't know whether you've ever played a game without wanting winning being the way that you enjoy it. Which is a weird one. I have played Inscription. It's excellent. When I'm sat with a friend playing a game, or even right now, I want to play my best, and if I get outplayed and someone plays well and beats me, that's okay. What I don't want to do is be in a position whereby I can't lose. Because, or make the other person, I want to be considerate of the experience the other person is having, if that makes any sense at all. Because I want the other person to enjoy the game enough to keep playing it, because if they don't, then eventually I might run out of people to play the game against, which removes the fun. As I say, it's a very old man shakes fist at the sky. But an old martial arts sensei of mine once said to me, if winning is your sole motivation in doing something, it should make sure you never do. Which took me a very long time to unpack and process. Oh, absolutely. This is it's always going to be a different deal as well, because it's a card game. And I mean, forget PlayerUnknown Battleground. No, winning can be your goal. My point is, you should never do something if your only way of enjoying is winning, to the point whereby don't care whether the other person has a good experience. So it's the balance between, so you should always play your best, or want to play your best and win if you can. You should not feel comfortable doing something that makes another human being miserable. In life, in games, in anything. If that makes sense. The Commandos issue is not that Commandos is a particularly good deck, unless you're very good on it. It can be. The issue is that newer players coming up against it time and time again will just be like, well, this is what the game's about. I'm going to not do anything for 8 turns. Then in 1 turn, my opponent's going to beat me. I'll go play something else. At which point, the game that you're enjoying dies because no one wants to play it. It's the difference. Like, I'm not in any way suggesting that competition isn't healthy. It is. But I think you have to be aware of your mindset in competition for your own mental health, and also for the kind of person that you are and that you will continue to be in life. Like, objectively in life, the most important thing is caring about other human beings and not being in a position whereby you're only driven by yourself. I'm curious as to what you think makes the difference. Is winning everything? No, not to me. Not at all. It has been. It is if I'm in a competition. If I am signing up to a specific group of people who 100% have signed up with the intent of competing, then I will play competitively. That's what I want. Even then, winning's still not everything, but it is the thing that I'm there to use. But I would only. That's the only time that, for example, I would consider playing hard handlock decks or decks that are not necessarily top meta decks. I'll play a top meta deck, but decks that have the chance of putting my opponent in the position whereby basically they can't do anything. Would be if I'm playing competitively. And even then, I would never send an emote bragging or being annoying about it. I would never get cranky because I lost. But that's because I've been through. I guess where I got started on this is I think what's interesting for me is that, and some people in chat will have started there, but some people of chat nowadays will probably have started with online games. But my first truly competitive card gaming experiences were sitting less than a foot and a half, 2 feet away from the other player, having a conversation, played out the cards. And so I wasn't just feeling my own emotion because I was engaged with the person. And I think sometimes we forget that there's another human being. Oh, and the other things here is this isn't in any way a suggestion that all of your decks are funded. They're not. But there are, I think, a couple of decks out there that are liable to have a negative impact on an opponent who's new to the game. It's not likely to apply to you because you'll hit Field Marshal and be at the top end of ladder every season because you are one of probably the top 150 players I know. And that puts you in a different bracket. And it means that your experience will be different, which is also something to be different of. It's a general musing, not a personal. But they're not. For example, if I was sitting down with my iPad and my friend was opposite me with their phone, and I was introducing them to cards and playing some friendly, I wouldn't play top meta decks and just beat them constantly and expect that to be a positive experience learning about the game. I think it's about figuring out the different balance. But yeah, it's also what's interesting about any online game with a laddered system and matchmaking is there are also different points at which it's a different application. There's a whole different experience as a new player in this game, as I'm sure some of the newer players in chat can tell you, than there is. I'm so going to end up clipping this. Than there is in playing at the top end, as I demonstrated at the beginning of last month. I don't have the patience to keep playing at top end because it just means I have to keep repeating the same thing because I need to be playing on a meta deck and knowing almost how every matchup's going to play out, which I think is interesting. What I will say is I really appreciate being able to engage in a conversation about it, but I think it's like I've said it endlessly. The reason I want to see a change to the Commandos issue is not that I think Commandos is too strong of a deck. In the hands of a good competitive player, it's pretty good. Probably A tier. I don't personally S tier. But at the same time, what I don't want to see is that being the normal experience for almost everyone. at lower levels. And that is another thing that like burnout is a very real thing. And I know Zia will know the feeling very, very well. When you're up in the upper end of it and continue going at it, there are times that you really do need to step away from it. But if you want to actually compete, what's interesting in a game like cards, you can't, because the climb is continuous, which is also an interesting game loop. Um, But my main musing was not one on necessarily judging people's choices in the game. I'm always curious as to it's just recently I was reading a lot into the studies on the desensitization that we get through screens. Which I'm lucky enough not to have, because I'm streaming to you guys, so I'm interacting with people. But I think as human beings, when we're playing a game online, any game online, not cards, it benefits us to remember that there's an actual human being at the other end of it, and that collectively you presumably got together to enjoy something together. I love Sniper Elite. I've played all of the Sniper Elites at one time or another through my life. I just finished up Sniper Elite 4, the Italy one. And I then tested some streaming like last month before, to see how it went, to play some Sniper Elite Resistance. I really enjoy the Sniper Elite games. They're very much a me kind of a player versus AI, player versus environment game. You're in. You are in a difficult position, my friend, because you are. Skyskipper. I wasn't on my PC. I was on the Xbox X that I was able to get for my birthday. Yeah. Um, that's the thing that I will actually play games on for me. I don't own a gaming PC. Zia, yeah, what I was saying is you're in a different box because you are a really good player. My old Xbox, it was my birthday. But I bought myself with the money that I was given from other people an Xbox Series X this year. Um, which I'm occasionally. Um, the yeah, you're a very good player, and you're also a natural control player, which means that you kind of will. So there's a guy I used to know long time ago on the Magic the Gathering circuit, who was generally accepted to be one of the best players of blue in Magic the Gathering on the circuit at the time. And he had the same thing. Almost all of the decks that he regularly played and enjoyed and intuitively understood were decks that a lot of non-competitive players, note non-competitive players, competitive players are kind of in a position whereby they're set up to play against everything, but non-competitive players just didn't want to play against, because unless you know how to beat that deck, you're just going to sit down and lose miserably. And at that point, what have you gained from it? Which is a legitimate point of view. But he and I chatted about this for a while, and he actually did a lot of drafting for his casual play and only played competitively practiced games. Is he would only practice against top other players because he needed the challenge to get better at it, and he gained nothing by. No, by the way, this is in person. This is Magic the Gathering Arena or anything, and he just didn't want to sit there and watch lots and lots of new players to the game feeling like crap directly opposite him as he beat them firstly without any effort. Because what was the what do you think about difference in skill playing in real life versus friends? Yeah, so it can be, but then so I think it depends on the way that you go about it. Like there are always going to be things that you are better at than other people. You got to ask yourself as long as everyone is enjoying themselves, then it's worth the thing, or as long as when people aren't enjoying themselves you do something different. um but you wouldn't force them to keep playing it. You wouldn't just keep beating them. And also occasionally, at least if you're anything like me, you're playing against someone who's new to a game, you don't play at your full potential because you're trying to let them learn the game and get better at it. And you don't teach by beating people until you get to a certain point when you do. And that takes me back into my coaching background and stuff like that. Where you have to judge the level of where you go at it. And I think it's sometimes what's really interesting is that you can't get that read in an online game. You don't know what your opponent's experience is. And sometimes it can be incredibly frustrating. Hey, Jay. It's like I suppose for comparison, I wouldn't take a tier one or S tier deck into a boot camp tournament on cards, even if I wanted to go into that, and I have done recently, because as I say, I'm to explain my point actually, I have almost completed my collection, but down at the bottom in Breakthrough and all of that, these are almost all standard cards for which I do not have enough wild cards. Best way to get those in game is for me to play boot camp tournaments. And if I ever do that, I deliberately play pauper decks or decks that are restricted in some other way. Like I won't allow myself to play maybe more than an elite or a couple of specials in a deck. Because otherwise, I'm just going into an event at skill level with a huge advantage not only in skill but in collection, and exploiting other people for my own benefit, which is being a dick, which I don't do. Possibly an example of it. Not by the way, the fact that nobody else does that. I'm sure there are people who do that, but I just don't find it interesting. I'm also not likely to have an interesting or competitive match because I'm just going to steamroll everyone, which is unfun. So I think it's the balance level. Like in Zia's case, Zia, I apologise. I hope you're okay with me, example, but you are, of the players engaging this conversation right now, you are the one I know who is definitely top 100, top 50 competition capable. And that means that you're always going to be playing in a different place. Your experience is always going to be different. It's just the way it goes, which is interesting. But I think it's just it was amusing more than anything else on what the balance is with regard to the way we think about other people in game, if we think about them at all. I know there are times at which I'm guilty of just getting caught up and dug into things especially when I'm not streaming and playing the game, and I'm not really conscious that there's another person in that game at all. Just something's happening on the other side of the screen and I'm reacting to it. And I'm just of the opinion that sometimes it's best to sidestep that. Maybe remind yourself there is another person. While we're doing this, I am going to do the last giveaway in a second, so if you haven't got yourself in, make sure you do, because I will have to go in a bit. But hopefully this is more of an interesting conversation than it is a weird one, but it's just something that came up while we were in play, and I've not had that happen for a while. So, among other things, thank you all for the fact that we're having that chat. I think that's one of the interesting things about stream, is that I get to engage with people. Which is another point. Would I still be playing cards if I wasn't streaming? Probably not. Not past the point whereby I decided that, at least not unless there was something particularly fun that I wanted to do in the game. Because I'm never going to compete. And I'm probably not going to hit, unless I'm ill, a season in which I don't make Field Marshal. So it's just a bit of a weird one. But I'm also possibly just in a very philosophical mood at the moment because I'm in the process of reconnecting with a lot of people in my life. Right. Bone stacks. That's very, very cool. You will have, in the very near future, in your Twitch DMs, a couple of codes, one of which will be for a Naval Warfare Standard pack. The other one will get you a draft ticket. You can redeem them in-game as long as you're on a device that allows you to redeem them. If not, you'll have to get onto a device that allows you to redeem them. And you are most welcome. I'm also waiting and trying to allow Zia right of reply, because I did actually spout quite a lot, because I'm able to talk directly. There's one, and there is the other code. But yeah, it's definitely an experience. Oh, we're just finishing out the chat. We'll bounce into it. It's an interesting conversation. I'm going to have a last, probably 1 or 2 games, depending on how these go, and then head off for the rest of my evening. I think it's the psychological dynamics of online gaming have just been something that I've been more aware of recently because of some of the reading and conversations I've been having. And it's just been interesting, given that I'm in the process of also obviously being a live streamer on an online game. Good open. Albacore would be nice. Make this thing out. We're going to take the damage either way. This way we get to choose how. Yeah, I think part of it is that my experience is, I think, very specifically from a much, like, I have like thousands of cards still in boxes behind me. But I think I just find it fascinating. let's see if you remove it. I'm interested how aggro we go. I also think it's healthy to both agree and disagree with people. Sometimes the dynamics you do actually have. That's rating, depending on. Kinda don't have a choice, but annoying. We may seem like we're doing quite well with removing our opponent's stuff, but our opponent is drawing an awful lot of cards. Although playing some weird ones. This just aggro? Wow. God, I've not seen for a while. Well, I guess we're about to find out. Hi, Totopan. Yes, that is the. I guess we're about to find out, Zia. I've not played it in frickin' forever. Wow. Good grief. Think about drawing, but we just go hard. This is like someone's playing a deck from when I first joined the game. I have not seen. I mean, Alpharang notwithstanding, this is very classic Jagro. That's a terrible crossfire. Should do it. Usual. I don't know anyone who's been playing classic German-Japan aggro, or Japan-Germany aggro. I'm not. It's a bit all over the place. Sendai, Alf Clarong, even Feldenhaler, which I'm not quite sure what he's doing there. Amphibious, I actually think I kind of sort of get Amphibious at the moment. In a Commandos world, if your collection doesn't have it, we've got to remember we're not at Field Marshal. But it looks like someone's just throwing together the best cards they have, at a guess. I'm going to assume that if we look at this, this is going to be a new player deck with not a lot of elites. Yeah, this is legitimately someone who is incredibly new to the game and climbing for Field Marshal. This is just very much, I think, the best cards they have in their collection, as far as they can tell. Definitely needs some refining. There's a lot of singles in here. Johnny X, it's not a refined list at all. It looks like they've just got a lot of stuff in there that I mean, you absolutely could. Like, Japan Germany aggro is probably still reasonably viable. I've just found Japan Soviet to be better, but yeah. I think you would do it somewhat differently. And I have no doubt there's more than hope for you, Bone Stacks. I'm sure you'll do fine. Right, I think that's going to be me. I think we're going to go and raid Mr. Manierdak. And go and see what he's up together. I think he's playing some games with the community today. It could be an autofill deck, but it looks more like someone's included their best, what they think are the best cards value-wise in their collection, and are hoping it'll get them to Field Marshal. Which is kind of understandable. Right. I will be back probably on Saturday. Life is very confusing at the moment, so make sure to keep up with me via Discord most of the and I will thank you all for being amazing. Go be nice to Manerdank, he's a lovely human, and I'll catch you all soon.